If you would like to know why sovereign power is linked to authenticity, authenticity to the truth, truth to the highest frequency to your health, and why suppressing your truth can literally make you sick, then stick around because we are about to go deep. Let's go a little bit into esoteric knowledge, generational wounds, the future, the past, the present, because by the end of the day, it's all connected. It takes Earth's axis approximately around 26,000 years to complete a circular wobble, meaning an epoch, an era. Most of you might know by now that we are shifting into the age of Aquarius, or what we also call the new golden age. In human design, it's the cross of the sleeping phoenix, which is basically not just a new orientation for Earth's reincarnation, but also for the evolution of us humans here on Earth. And this new era is going to be one of complete sovereignty and individualism. When we look at the different generations, then it becomes very obvious how each generation doesn't just build upon another and evolve, but also how we all share, respectively, a similar theme, an unconscious collective wound, and also certain frequencies in how we do things and what is deemed as respectful and expected. Obviously, there are always exceptions and overlaps, and then in the 60s and 70s, we had the liberation of the feminine and so on and so forth. However, for a lot of us here, we were still raised by the generation of parents that struggled and were not allowed to express themselves fully. For example, my mom, who was raised in former Yugoslavia, it was deemed as utterly disrespectful for her to express her truth. She was raised in a manner that decisions were made for her, that what mother or father decided was God, and that she had to ask permission until or as long as she was staying in the house to even do activities that would please her. So for her, expressing her truth came with a tremendous amount of courage. So a lot of us, even until today, in particular those who are like in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, we are collectively as generations carrying the wound of self-expression with us, whereas the future generations and the younger ones are already born with that confidence. They are coming in with a higher frequency of love, of being of service, and of knowing who they are. And this level collectively, unconsciously, of the lack of self-worth is one of the reasons that we today face so many men and women fearing to speak their truth. And I'm not speaking about those who are like overly radical and over-exaggerating, but I'm speaking about those who really want to be in their sovereign power and speak authentically. Now let's look a little bit at vibration, and here is the Hawking scale. And as you can see, the highest level of vibration on the Hawking scale is enlightenment. Now today what we refer to as enlightenment is authenticity, and authenticity is the truth. We can only accept the truth to the same extent as we have accepted and digested the truth within ourselves. Now here comes the part where I would like to talk you through how our truth is related to our overall health and how the suppression of it literally makes us sick. When we speak, like I do now, I obviously, and we all, do it through our vocal cords, which is connected to our throat. When we speak through our vocal cords, it creates a vibration, what we call the somatic frequencies. At the same time, when we eat, we need to bite the food into small pieces to swallow it down our throat and right into our stomach. Another reason why we break down food into small pieces is, of course, because our digestive system needs to process it. Did you know that 70 to 80% of our immune system sits in our gut? And physiologically, our emotions are directly linked to our immune system. So when we over prolonged periods of time suppress our emotions, which are directly correlated to the expression of our authenticity and truth, what we do in essence is we suppress our immune system. As our gut is the main seat of our immune system and our emotions are directly linked to our immune system, so are also our intestines, not just related to how we process and digest food, but also how we process and digest our emotions and experiences. Studies have shown that more than 40% of the world population suffer from functional gastrointestinal diseases, hitting women more than men. So when we are suppressing our truth in order to fit in order to not get rejected or abandoned, or simply because we want to people please, we are truly not doing ourselves a favor. Let me give you some examples. The small intestines relate to the assimilation of nutrients. So you may be eating the right foods, but are unable to digest it fully. The same applies to your life. When you aren't living in your truth, you are disowning your own right to live fully. You might be fearful of love paired with the inability to digest learning experiences, and that can cause tremendous amount of discomfort. The large intestines are the last stage of digestion before elimination, and if there is any holding on to things that are no longer needed, constipation can arise. And this can result in a strong need to control. There can be also a degree of guilt, blame, and in particular, going back to one of the main themes, lack of self-worth. And that goes back again to our voice, because the largest tool of self-expression that we have isn't just the body language, but also how we use our voice to bring across a message, to communicate. The vocal cords vibrate to create the sound of the voice. And this is what we refer to as frequencies, as somatic frequencies. Those frequencies are giving out a certain vibe that then is picked up by the brain and transmitted into information. And this bandwidth of vibration exists beyond time and space. What that means is that it's also connected directly to our nervous system, to our DNA, and as such a healthy self-talk, so not just the expression towards others but also how we speak to ourselves, literally has the power to rewrite your entire nervous system and to regulate it. Dolores Cannon said in one of her videos that humans are actually never supposed to be sick, and that's something what also the shamanic and the indigenous tribes always knew. However, this state is only reached when we vibrate on the highest vibration, because with this vibration we keep our immune system, our nervous system, and our overall well-being on an optimal functional state. Before we can reach the full embodiment of these higher frequencies, our body will first go through a purging phase, what we also call the ascension symptoms. Because in order for our vessel to be ready to hold these light codes, these high frequencies, it first needs to be purged out of all the lower vibrational frequencies, the emotions that we are storing and holding on to that we cannot take with us. Is it going to be done overnight? Surely not. But this is going to be now one of the major parts of our journey, for in the near future, we are all going to be in our sovereign power and authentic truth.